Hey everybody, welcome to episode 14, Golf Carts, Goldilocks Beds, and Temptation at Church Camp. Hey everybody, it's your girl Gigi. I know, I'm late, I know. How is everybody? No, like for real, on a scale from I woke up feeling fabulous to I woke up feeling like a bus hit me, backed up, and then left a note saying, sorry, not sorry. Seriously, where are you guys at today? I am currently sitting at a 7. It's wonderful. I just woke up this morning feeling not so happy. Let me tell you, I have been through the ringer since I have been home from camp, and it's not even the cute kind of been through it. It's not the kind where you bounce back in a day either. We're talking about like dragging yourself across the finish line with like one shoe and a hair tie that's kind of popping out everywhere and giving up on you. And you're throwing a prayer. And yeah, that's just kind of how it's been this week. I'm at the point where I think my new motto might be just there's air in my lungs, a beat in my chest, and a pain all over. So yeah, I'm still here, alive. Sure. Kicking. More like weak flailing. I'm going to count it though, because, that takes up energy. Welcome back, my OG crew. And if you're new here, welcome. This is the show run by my two favorite troublemakers, Felicia, my overdramatic stage manager, also known as fibromyalgia, and my she decides every day that I need a plot twist and a little emotional flair, if you will. And then there's Frankie, my residential percussionist, who loves tapping away on my spine and every single joint I have. I guess I don't own them, do I? They're in my body, so But these two, they thrive on chaos. They sprinkle in a healthy dose of absurdity, stir in some stubbornness, and voila, we got a front row seat to the circus that's called my life. Quick disclaimer, you guys. This channel is about learning. I am just a regular girl riding the chronic illness roller coaster with Felicia, fibro, and Frankie, psoriatic arthritis. I'm sharing my life with you guys, one flare up at a time. I'm here to keep it real, connect with fellow warriors, sprinkle in some hope, humor, and heart. I am not a doctor. I am just a girl talking from real life experiences that I've gone through or going through. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. When you've got a chronic illness like fibro, Felicia, and Frankie, Mr. PSA, you do not travel lightly. You don't even travel mediumly. You travel, ma'am, do you need a moving truck? Packing your camp felt like getting ready for the weekend, and less like a weekend away. More like I was seriously relocating my life. I had the medicine cabinet, check. Comfort items, check. Half my kitchen included, check. I had my heating pads, yep. Medicine sorted into enough pills in case, I wasn't for sure, but, always wanted to make sure I had extras. And it looked like I was running a pharmacy. I had my wedge pillows, my neck pillow, my don't even think about it pillow, and enough snacks to survive the zombie apocalypse. And somehow, after all that, oh, and don't forget the Mountain Dew, of course. I had a refrigerator full of Mountain Dew. Woohoo! But somehow, after all that, I still found room for clothes, too. Wasn't that nice? Even though, if I want to be completely honest, 90% of my wardrobe is stretchy waistbands and please don't touch me kind of fabrics. By the time I was done packing, the scene looked less like a weekend getaway and more like she's either fleeing the country or she's filming an episode of Hoarder's Chronic Illness Edition. I swear, if I could have fit the kitchen sink in my bag, I probably would have brought it. Hey, you don't ever know when you're going to need to soak in that thing. And to make things a little extra spicy, I had just did my first Invincia shot, my first Invincia injection before I went. And then I had brought one with me to camp as well. So I was praying that it was going to kick in before the trip, and I was ready for that hallelujah moment, that magical wow that you can move again kind of breakthrough thing. And instead of it, it was like, no, nah, not today. Not going to happen. But here I was, still hanging on to hope, like a little toddler with your security blanket. I was just hoping it was going to kick in, but yeah, it did not kick in. Meanwhile, my grandbabies, they were over the night before I left, so my heart was so full. Oh my gosh, they just, my everything. I could have just burst, so happy, but they're all in my arms and they're all giving you little hugs and kisses and their little snuggles, and I'm like, oh, it's so great. I was living it up, and I was also Lego dodging. And when I say Lego dodging, I mean my house was exactly one Lego away from sending me to the ER. You guys have never felt pain until you've stepped on one of those plastic little demons. And then having Felicia and Frankie on top of it. Oh yeah. They were like, let us flare about it, shall we? But to add to the chaos, my husband's back decided to join the pity party with all of us going on, and his sciatic nerve, aka the devil's jump rope. Yeah. So here we were, both shuffling around the house like a couple of rusty wind-up toys. Picture this: two people shuffling around. I'm trying to pack for camp. We're both limping, and we're both groaning, we're both pretending like everything's just great and fine. Yeah, which brings me to my favorite self-sabotaging habit of hiding my pain. Why? I don't know. Maybe I think I'm fooling people. Maybe I think I'm sparing them. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm auditioning for the total final Olympics and the gold medal and fake smiles. A silver and pretending I'm not limping. And yeah, anyway, I paid for all of it. I always pay for it. I don't know why even. You think I'd learn by now, but no, no, no. Sometimes I'm just out here making bad choices like it's a hobby. Yeah, no judgment, okay? Yeah, yeah. Finally, we pull into camp, and it felt like a little like stepping into a time warp, but the best kind. So, most of these people I've known since I was 12, and we've all grown up together, us kids. And we've shared graduations and weddings and babies, and we've watched each other, our kids all grow up, and some of us, me included, have grandkids, and so, and other people, it's just, my friend, she brought her kid, and she's, same age we were when we first met, and I'm like, it's just surreal to watch your own life like on split screen, like then and now, and realizing you've been a part of each other's lives like forever, and we're a part of each other's forever stories. You know what I mean? It's kind of a really cool thing. But yeah, so when you get there, you're supposed to go straight into normal, responsible adult routine and check in and unpack and get settled, but that's not how it works here. Oh, no, 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 no. First you register, and then you stand there and talk and talk and talk and talk some more. And let me tell you, when you have a room full of deaf people who haven't seen each other in forever or last year or whatever the case may be, the energy is off the charts. Conversations flying everywhere. Hands are moving so fast you swear you can feel the wind from across the room. Laughter echoing, hugs flying left and right, and it is a joyful chaos. Beautiful. Love it. And, yeah, there's a lot to do after registration. You're supposed to get your bags unpacked, you clean your bed, figure out what light switches work, those things that you can, do. But, they can all wait when you have a room full of people you love so much, especially when you haven't seen them. And so some of them I hadn't seen in years. Some of them I'd seen last year. Some of them I see regularly, but it don't matter. It's all speaking of hugs. You pray that nobody squeezes me too tightly. That's what my prayer was. I was like, please, Lord, don't let anybody squeeze too tight. Because, Felicia and Frankie, they don't approve of those rib crushing affections. They don't even like being touched sometimes. So, and I was definitely praying that nobody was carrying a mystery virus that they'd love to share with me. Thankfully, this year was a win-win. Nobody was sick. I didn't come home sick. Nobody flipped a canoe. No one drowned. It was a calm year by camp standards. And as the camp nurse, I lucked out with a room to myself. No light out schedule. No grumpy roommates. Nobody stole my blankets. But somehow the nursing room turned into an unofficial after hour party spot. So from Wednesday to Sunday, it was like my door had neon open signs. People were coming in. Thursday night, after we had a bunch of meetings, I had a couple people come in my room and hang out. Friday, we had a campfire. There's like 3 or 4 people hanging out afterwards. Saturday, another campfire. And man, I had 4 or 5 people in there. But we snacked, we talked, we laughed, we swapped stories. It was way past my body's bedtime. But, and then every night I loved it because my dad comes in every night before he turns in and he checks in with me and he tells me he loves me and he gives me my hug. And, we talk about the day and the things that have happened or whatever. So it was really nice I love having that one on one time with my dad. Just wonderful memories and, anyway. But my heart was loving every second of it. My body was not happy, though. It was filing complaints left and right, and it was very loud. The first couple of nights I slept on the love seat, clearly designed for toddlers with decorative pillows, not made for human adults with cranky joints. But by night 3, I literally was in so much pain, and I had been up and down all night, walking the floors, and just, oh gosh, I was so miserable. And then it hits me. I look at the kitchen benches and I'm like, because they have the nurses stationed in an RV. It's really kind of cool. Not an RV, it's a fifth wheel. So it's kind of cool. And I'm looking at this bench and I'm like, I think that table turns into a bed. The table had so much papers and whatever. So I just looked at the cushions and I'm like, yep. So I grab them and I laid them in front of the couch and I threw a sheet over them, and I used the term bed loosely, but it was a sad cushion island. But man, oh man, was I so happy because I could stretch my legs out, and that was what I slept on the rest of the weekend. So, and then my other lifesaver that weekend was the golf cart that they gave me because my legs were not happy, and obviously walking a lot was not happening. So my freedom, and apparently I also became the unofficial camp Uber driver. Don't get me wrong. I loved helping people get where they had to go, but there were times where that little rattle, rattle, rattle was wearing me down. And all I wanted to do was park it, crawl back into my cushion island for some quiet time. But yeah, didn't happen. So next year, I'm going to make a public announcement that I am not your Uber driver. I mean, unless you pay me in snacks. But the thing I really was excited about was that I'll have next year I'll have help. I'll have a friend that I've known for 20 some years. She's an RN and she's going to join me next year, and I cannot even explain to you how excited that makes me because that's a game changer. More hands, less chaos, and maybe a real bed. I'm definitely bringing an air mattress next year. Not even up for debates. Definitely a girl can dream about things. But the deaf community will always, always, always be a part of me. Half of my heart will always live there. And the weekends that, it just proves to you that no matter how much time passes, those connections, they never fade. They are a part of you. They will always be. I left tired. I left sore, grateful, with a happy, happy heart. No, full of love. You know what I mean? And nothing beats coming home, though, to my own bed, to my husband and my babies, my shower, my animals driving me absolutely bonkers. Yeah, gotta love it. And then there's always that guy. The one. Every group's got one, a Ken or a Karen who seems to think that their spiritual gift is handing out unsolicited opinions. And this particular Ken decided it was his God-given duty to comment on my mobility aid. He looked at me straight in the eyes, no conversations, no hesitation, and he just looked at me and said, "You should be ashamed of yourself for using a golf cart. There's nothing wrong with you. You should be giving that to people that need it." And I thought, you have no idea how close I am to running you over with this golf cart. But he wasn't done. Oh, no, 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 no. Because apparently he decided he needed to disrespect me all weekend long, and I was on his personal list that he just needed to constantly put me down or make me feel bad. And we were sitting there at lunch, and he looked at me and he said, "You know, I wish your mom was here instead of you." Let me tell you, my mom's been gone for 3 years now. 3 years ago, I started going to summer camp because I lost my mom. 3 years ago, camp was my refugee for helping me get through that loss. And it did an amazing job. But this gentleman stalked me 3 years ago. I had problems with him 3 years ago. So, anyway, so yeah, that's 3 years of me not hearing my mom's voice. 3 years without her hugs. 3 years of wishing that I could tell her things about my day or about somebody that we knew, or, what the grandbabies did today, or, trust me, I would give anything to have her there instead of me there. Anything. But you don't say that to somebody. You just don't do that. Not ever. That's not a oops, I put my foot in my mouth. That's the, sir, you swallowed your whole freaking leg. It was hurtful and disrespectful. And for 5 seconds, I sat there for a minute and I literally had to calm myself down. I was in full martial art mode. I'm calculating the odds of whether throat punching him would get me kicked out of church camp or not. And I even asked somebody, I said, if I punched him, would I get in trouble? And nobody even gave me an answer. Half of them were deaf. So anyway, but I took the high road. I prayed for him. I prayed for forgiveness. I prayed for myself. I prayed for the situation. And I even said, Lord, if you could throw punching for me, that would be awesome. Here's the thing, though. I told my dad about it. And my dad, oh yeah, my dad, he don't play when it comes to us kids. He walked right up to that guy the next day and told him how disrespectful he was, made him apologize to me. And it wasn't one of those half-hearted I'm sorries that make you feel, whatever. But no, it was a real one. He's, people don't like it when my dad gets onto him. So, yay, Dad. Problem handled. The guy ended up leaving early. But, there wasn't any hands thrown. Nobody was expelled from camp. Whew. I got to keep my good girl image. At least for the weekend, anyway. But let's real. Let's be real. A lot of them already know me. And so, anyway. But seriously, why is there always that one person who always goes out of their way to try to make somebody feel like crap or to make them feel worse about themselves? It makes you second guess yourself, to poke at your sore spots per se. And just because they can, I have figured out either it's jealousy, ignorance, or both. But, here's the part. The reason I have the golf cart, oh, wait a minute, you didn't ask me, which I did say this to him. You just assumed. You saw me sitting there and you thought, oh, I'm fine. She's fine. She doesn't need that. But what you didn't see was the pain that it takes me to walk from point A to point B. What you didn't know is that I would gladly be on my feet all weekend if I could. I don't want special treatment. I don't even like being looked at like that. I don't like being center of attention. I don't like it. That's why I don't plaster my face all over here. I want my message to be heard, not for my looks, not to be judged. Trust me, folks, I have bad days and I look like dog poop. I have good days where I look wonderful. But I have more bad days and more look bad days than I do good days. And I mean, I do try to put in an effort, but no one wakes up and says, you know what, I think I need to look completely awful today just for fun. And yet people judge. If you're dressed too nicely, they assume you're healthy. If you're in your pajamas, they assume you're lazy. If your hair's not brushed, they think, oh, if your hair's brushed, they think you're fine. If they think it's not brushed, then they're like, oh, she's being completely lazy and just not even trying. But what y'all didn't realize is that I couldn't brush my hair because, oh yeah, I had that concussion and anything touching my skull piece of hair moving hurt. So before chronic illness, I was guilty of it too. I look at somebody and I would think, God, what's wrong with them? What's wrong? What? They're not even trying. But let me tell you, since I've had Felicia and Frankie come into my life, I've eaten so much humble pie. I should get a loyalty card by now. And that pie has taught me that things are rarely what they appear to be. So here's the lesson. Shame on the Kens and Karens for making any of us feel bad for doing the best that we can. Because that's exactly what it is. The best we can do, everything, every day, is it might not look the way it seems, or my best might not look, it might, my best, bleh, sorry guys, my best may look different than your guys's, and your guys's may look different than mine, and they're different from day to day. But don't think that I'm not giving my best every single day, because I am. And if you don't know my story, don't assume, don't judge, because the truth is the only lazy thing about me is my sciatic nerve. It's lazy. It really is. By the time I finally rolled into the driveway, I felt like Goldilocks stumbling into the baby bear's bed. Except my version of the bed was just right. The sheets were cool, and there was heating pad already plugged in like a love letter from the universe. I didn't just sleep, y'all. I hibernated. My husband swears I snored like a grizzly bear on a megaphone, but I'll take that as a compliment. I was so tired. I didn't sleep. That actually meant that I was in a deep sleep. Deep, drool on the pillow, dreamless sleep. And if I sound like wildlife in process, well, we'll just add that to my skill set. Of course, the moment I opened my eyes, life was ready to do its to-do list. No easing back in, no recovery week, just straight into the deep end. Doctor's appointments, errands, catching up on the house, helping my 72-year-old dad with his latest round of projects around here. And I love that man, but let me tell you guys, he runs circles around me, literally. I am standing there holding a tool, moving at slow speed. I think I'm going at a steady pace. And he's already halfway up the ladder, like he's auditioning for American Ninja Warrior Retirement Edition. To be fair, I'm already broken, so the bar's already low, but he wins that race every time. And just because it wouldn't be me week without a little chaos, I had to fall the other day. I freaking missed a step. No dramatic tripwire or obstacles or anything, just gravity doing its thing. And so now I've got bruises and shades of collars, and Crayola hasn't even invented some of these collars, I swear. Scrapes and definitely sore spots. I hurt my wrist. I thought I broke it. I thought I broke my ankle. Luckily, I did not. They are very sore, though. I went to the chiropractor. Yeah, anyway. So I'm slathering hemp cream all over myself like a butter on a biscuit. My feet, yeah, they were on fire, so I had to cover them up. Calves, yep, covered them. Knees, hips, shoulders, even my freaking toes hurt, guys. Toes, my toes. So yeah, I smothered it all over like gravy at Cracker Barrel. You know, I'm basically a walking hemp scented candle at this point. And because I'm me, I went to the chiropractor and he cracked my back, my hip, everything. And he looks at me with a straight face and he says, "You're a hot mess." Yeah. I laugh, but deep down I'm thinking, "Sir, you're so not wrong." The sad truth is he might have actually fixed something. I had a big freaking bulge in the lower back of the right side of my lower back and hip. And it was protruding. Like I could feel it. It hurt so bad. Yeah, and it made me sit like in a chair like I was restless toddler on a sugar high, like I couldn't sit still. I was constantly shifting and moving one leg under and then leaning forward, sideways. Y'all know the whole performance. Y'all know it. But, after he did his magic, the bulge is gone now, and I am in a lot less pain than I actually was. My hand and my wrist still hurt really bad, so I'm actually able to sit here like a normal person for at least a few minutes straight anyway. And yeah, I've been tag teaming my recovery with heating pads and TENS unit, and yeah, anyway. Why is it though when you go to the office, like the doctor's office or whatever, you're never like they do the TENS unit and then they do the pads out of the towel warmer, and you're laying there like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. This is a happy place. I could live here. And then you go home and you plug in your own TINS unit and you do the same thing. And you're like, yeah, it doesn't feel the same. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's not the same magic, but I don't know. Does anybody else notice that, or am I just the only one that goes through this? But anyway, Felicia's been on a rampage lately because obviously. So lightning, my legs and feet are on fire every night for the past 4 or 5 nights now. I've been using that hemp cream pretty regularly, double shifts. And if my legs could talk, they'd probably file a complaint with the HR. I got a doctor's appointment today, so maybe I'll get some answers, or, oh, I'm sure probably another freaking prescription for something else to help me deal with it. But either way, dang you, Felicia, always finding new ways to keep life interesting for you, not interesting for me. Makes me want to kind of cry. Hey, if you guys are still hanging out with me right now, you guys are the real MVPs. Seriously, your time, your energy, your likes, your shares, it means the world to me. So don't forget, subscribe, like, again, for just good measures. Oh, subscribe again. Why not? Hey. Share this with somebody who might need a laugh or a little encouragement, or maybe they just need a reminder that they're not alone in this wild ride. And, listening to the chaotic stuff that we go through on a daily basis is kind of crazy. It's pretty wild. But here's the truth. Even with the pain, the exhaustion, the frustration, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my dad, my husband, my family, my grandbabies, the reasons I drag myself out of bed every day. Even when Felicia, Fibro, and Frankie, PSA, are tag teaming me, I'm thankful that I got to make those memories, even if I had to limp, waddle, or golf cart my way through them all. Life with Felicia and Frankie, it's not easy, but it's mine, and it's worth living. Until next time, take care of yourself, my friends. Move a little, rest a lot, love even harder, and remember, just because you look fine doesn't mean that you aren't fighting battles. Always, always be kind. Always. Bye, guys.